You can't enjoy a Kanye West concert if you're shitting yourself.
I don't buy into work-life balance. I don't think there's any such thing.
I've not been bored for 25 years.
Oh my goodness.
Like, can you imagine being bored? I almost want someone to do me wrong.
Yes, I can prove you wrong.
I want someone to fuck me up. I want someone to come, threaten me and fuck me up.
I don't want to be everything about my personality is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I don't want to be tired and haggard and missing out on special occasions with my family, with my friends, with my children.
What up, bitches? Welcome to Law of Attraction, Change My Life. I'm your host, Francesca Amber, and today I'm back with a guest who, she's been here before. You've met her before. And I have to say, no shade to any of the other guests that I've ever had on my podcast, but she is without a doubt my favourite guest that I have ever had. You're going to want to get a notebook and a pen out because you're going to be writing down shit this woman says, okay? You're going to love it. It is, of course, Tamu Thomas. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Yes. Well, we were just having a little discussion about how we don't like touching men or communicating with them anymore.
Yeah.
So this could be it for us. I don't mean us, but like just this reality.
Yeah, it really could be, because I think that women are doing so much to grow and develop and be the people we need us to be. So the pool of men that are available that can hold all that we come with, all that we are, it just seems to be getting smaller and smaller. I don't think I'm making it up. I think it's a reality because I have these conversations all the time. So if this is it, then Fran, it's me and you, babe.
I mean, have you tried 25-year-olds?
Everybody keeps saying to me, I need to be going for, but 25-year-olds, like I'm quite an age, you know. I'm just not sure. I'm 48 3/4.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You do not look it at all. Wow. Do you know what? 48-year-olds today do not look the same as what
different.
40. I mean, when my mum was my age, she had like an old lady haircut and she was like ready to go into a retirement home.
Yeah.
Now, look at Kim Kardashian. I mean, hello, knocking on the door of 50.
I know.
Okay.
I mean, we don't look like Deirdre and Gail from Corrie, you know?
No, absolutely not. Well, people often say I look like, who's the other one? Bet Lynch, the one that wears a lot of leopard print.
I'm sorry. I am sorry. Not my Fran.
It's what they say. I don't know if it's true, but that's what they say. Anyway,
yes.
When I contacted you saying, would you like to do a second round of the podcast? You made me very, very excited because you were talking about redefining ambition and what that means for us as modern women. So I was going to try and come up with some kind of like introduction to this episode. And I thought, actually, who better than you?
Yeah.
So can you tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about redefining ambition because for far too long, ambition has been squashed down into working all the hours God sends, trying to make as much money as possible, being a shadow of yourself so that you can be palatable and fit into like societal ideas of success and ambition. And as modern women who are juggling different things, who have got different priorities and have seen that actually things aren't changing as quickly as they need to, we need to not change ourselves, but come back home to ourselves. And also, it's important for us to role model to the younger women coming up that ambition really can be what you want it to be. You don't need to sack off your career and become a tradwife. There are other options available to you. And we can utilize tools like the law of attraction to be able to have ambition serve us rather than be dragged around by it.
Oh, wow. I'm sold. I'm in balls deep. And this is very timely for me because, you know, is it my word of the year or like my theme of the year, which, by the way, is very difficult. This has probably been the hardest theme of the year for me in 5 years, is just rich life every day. Like every day, rich life, regulated nervous system, not achieving for more, just feeling rich every day.
Yeah.
And when I say rich, I don't just mean money. I mean, obviously rich in all senses. And it is something I have to keep reminding myself that this year I'm doing less. And I have to, it's a skill. It's an actual skill to acquire. So when someone says, you know, a well-rested woman. I think a lot of people could think, you know, laying around watching Jeremy Kyle.
Yes.
What does it actually mean in reality?
For me, it means having the energy to show up for life, like be alive, I got to a point where I felt like I'm being dragged around by life. Like I'm not in the driver's seat here. And I remembered Tracy Ellis Ross. She did a speech for, I think it was for Elle magazine. And the main premise was my life is mine. So forget what everybody else says. And I thought my life doesn't feel like it's mine. It's running around all over the place and I'm puffing and panting, trying to catch up with it. And I thought, well, if I'm rested, I've got the energy to direct myself. And also, when you're used to living a life where you're living up to other people's expectations, you're being productive all the time, you're trying to optimize yourself to the hilt, you kind of forget that you need a lot of energy to make change. You've got so used to overfunctioning, that has become your normal. So you've adapted to constantly being busy, not feeling how you're feeling and not making choices that are in support of you. You've prioritized everything else. So it's a bit like you're having to turn a gigantic ship round. That requires a lot of energy. So when I'm talking about being a well-rested woman, I don't just mean like I'm lying down on a chaise longue being fed grapes. That's great, but it's also slowing down, not washing my face like I'm being chased by wolves.
Why do we do that?
Why?
When I'm putting the dishwasher away, I'm literally acting like I'm being chased by a prisoner. Like, what is happening?
What?
But even just the act of saying stop, do it calmly.
Yeah.
Like it's very powerful.
Absolutely. There was one day I went out walking with my daughter and I could hear her voice in the distance. I was just like, Mum, why are you walking so fast? It was a beautiful day. There's a dairy farm near where we live. The cows were out and I was walking full speed. And when she said, why am I walking so fast? I was like, I don't bloody know.
Yeah.
I'm just used to being in fast forward. So walking in a way that is leisurely, where you can actually feel the ground, where you're alive to what's going on around you and you're taking note of the beauty, or if it's cows in the field, you're noticing the sky, you're noticing how the sun feels against your skin. All of those sorts of things send signs or glimmers of safety, of restfulness to your nervous system, so you feel safe. And when you feel safe, your capacity grows, you're able to expand and hold more. And thinking about your stuff, I did your gratitude.
Step into abundance? No,
it was something, I think it was however many days of gratitude or something.
Yes, grateful as fuck. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
Something like that.
Something
Who knows?
like that. And I just thought to myself, I notice that when I slow down, I have got more space and capacity for gratitude.
Yes.
And when I'm doing that gratitude stuff, I have a tendency to overthink. But the overthinking moves into what's possible. Isn't this exciting? Wouldn't this be nice if, as opposed to, oh my gosh, and I haven't done this and I've got to do that and I'm behind and all of this kind of caper. So living a restful life means that you've actually got time and space for your life. Now, I know there are going to be some people, I'm so busy, I've got 12 kids, I've got a career. How can you weave that in to moments of your life when you're making yourself a drink? Do you have to be stirring those onions that are sauteing in the pan so quickly? Can you do it a little bit more slowly? Can you give your children colouring pad, iPad, whatever it is, so they're occupied for a moment so that you can take a moment to breathe? I'm not saying everybody has to have a slow morning and pretend life doesn't exist, but where can you open up your life a little bit for these restful moments so that you can just chill out a bit?
It's such an important topic because so many of us are stuck in that fight or flight. And because this has been my theme of the year, this is something that I've sort of been studying a little bit. Oh, sorry, my chihuahua just dropped on the floor. And the last time she dropped on the floor, her eyes popped out. So that's a story for another. I'll show you the picture after.
Eyes are fine.
Horrendous.
Everybody. Yeah, she's okay.
In fact, maybe we should put a little insert an image of her eyes popping out here because it is a sight to behold. I was trying to trace back how long I've been feeling like this for in this real fight or flight, because I'm trying to think when I was a younger woman, before I had children, before social media, really, I didn't really feel like this. I don't think. I was sitting in a beer garden getting day drunk 5 days a week. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like it then. And I remember back to when it really first started was when I got divorced. I think it was the first time being a single mum, being the only income in a house. And I remember I used to Airbnb my flat. So me and my daughter lived in it. But then every other weekend we'd Airbnb it. And I remember I'd go to work and then I'd be like, right, everything needs to be clear. And then I'd go to work and then I'd do all the spray tans and I'd leave myself literally like 5 minutes to finish my last client and then get in the car to beat the traffic. Everything felt very
Relentless.
hectic. And then obviously having the twins and then suddenly having 3 children. And then, so I've been in fight or flight, I would say, for about 8 years, without being dramatic, probably 8 years. And now trying to unlearn that process is something I'm having to remind myself almost daily, like being like, no, you're not in a rush. You're okay. And the little wins are things like, the other day, a school mum stopped me. We talked for an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Outside a pharmacy.
Wow.
And there were parts of me that were like, I need to get home. I need to start working. Like, I need to get on my day. And I was like, no, like, I don't need to. The other day I was really tired. I had a nap. I had a daytime nap.
Look at you.
Look at me.
Abundance, say what?
That is abundance though. Like, and for so long, I feel like I've been living a life of 2 halves. I've either been child-free in London, living my best life, walking red carpets, being like, woohoo, look at me, or I'm out on the beach in Barbados. Or I've been, from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed, hustling by myself in a house by myself with 3 children, tearing me to pieces, never stopping. And it felt like such a, like, you know that TV show, Rich House, Poor House? I felt like that was me, but I was like, rich for me, poor me.
Yeah.
And so it's just been a real goal of mine to like redress that balance and just find that calm in every day. So do you think then that maybe women have been sold like the wrong version of like ambition or success?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So first and foremost, in the 70s and 80s, there was an economic downturn. And in the UK and America at least, there was a need for more women to enter the workforce, and for women that were working part-time for them to enter the workforce full-time. And when this happened, predominantly middle-class women, because working-class women had to work, like that wasn't an option. But women were worried about, well, what will happen to our households if we are going from part-time to full-time, or we are entering the workplace? And that's where this notion of work-life balance came from. It was actually marketing spin that was shared so that women would have this idea that you can kill it in the office. You can kill it at home. We'll create a microwave. You'll have TV dinners to make your life easier. We're going to create all of these gadgets to help save time so that you can focus in other areas. And none of the infrastructure to support women was put in place. So we had these very old school notions about taking care of our families and what it meant to be a good woman. And then we were told in order to be successful in the office, we needed to operate like men. So there was no room for us to be who we are. And then we were also taught that success, ambition needs to look like men. So there was a quote that was going around, I think it was around the time of lockdown, something like women are expected to be mothers like they don't work and work like they're not mothers, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a very false environment. So I don't buy into work-life balance. I don't think there's any such thing. If you notice, the conversations about work-life balance generally are directed towards women. What I think is much more helpful is work-life harmony. So if you think about, I always refer to this song, Luciano Pavarotti's Nessun Dorma. There's that really...
Can you sing it?
No, I cannot. No, I cannot. I would try, but I wouldn't even dare. But there's the beautiful, towards the end, he's got that beautiful crescendo. We try to live in that crescendo all the time. That's what we think is work-life balance. It's not. And if you just listen to that crescendo in his song, because I've tried, it sounds like a racket. The beauty is lost. When we look at work-life harmony, you look at the whole song. So there may be times where work requires more from you. Because you recognize there's no such thing as balance, you can say to the people in your household, work is really demanding at the moment. For the next 3 months, I've got this project on. This is what it's probably going to look like. Can we organize as a family so that everybody can pitch in, because I'm not going to be as available as much? You are still my priority. If something happens and you need me, I'm there, but I need this support. It takes away the shame from needing help. It takes away this need for hyper independence. You recognize that we are interdependent as well as independent. And the other way round, when home is more demanding, you can have honest conversations with your employer. Be honest, not all of them are supportive, but most of them are. And if you're saying for a finite period of time, this is support I need, it works in your favor. It enables us to remember that we work to support how we live. So it helps us to start making choices about how we need to operate, how we need to work in order to support the rest of our lives. And we need to do that in our businesses as well. You and I work for ourselves. I know so many women who work for themselves, but they treat themselves like a really horrible employer.
We're the worst boss.
Honestly.
I'm the worst boss that I've ever had.
I have been. And there was one day I was saying to my friend, if I was a company, I would have left.
Yeah, I'd have HR onto me.
Oh my goodness.
This bitch.
Right? She talks to me like shit. She doesn't give me enough time to do the stuff I need to do.
Yeah.
And what I noticed when you were talking about doing less, when I still do that and I still have to have a meeting with myself to say, no, this is not how we operate. When I do that and I focus on, well, what is important? What are the things that actually support progress? Forget all of this busy, pleasing work. What are the things that actually move the needle?
Yeah.
What are the things that enable me to make an impact and create an income? Actually, those things are more bountiful when I'm doing this because I'm focusing on what really matters and I'm giving myself the chance to rest, to recharge so that I'm bringing my best rather than giving myself dregs of myself all the time.
Yeah. And actually that is, I feel like when we're talking about slowing down and doing less, and dare I say it, almost, can you imagine being bored? Yeah. I've not been bored for 25 years.
Oh my goodness.
Like, can you imagine being bored? But the big draw for that for me is creativity, bringing back that creative spark, that, you know, ideas, creativity, like that for me is one of the biggest draws of doing less, is not just the nervous system regulation, but what you're able to manifest in your life. Right. A very small example, and this is very like frivolous, but I would find myself often scrolling on Instagram to try and find reels to be like, oh, I should like make my own version of that reel. And so I would obviously spend hours a day like looking and then doing it. And they would do all right. They would get like a couple of 1,000 views or 100 views or whatever it might be.
Yep.
And then when I consciously like turned off my phone, like I've been doing this like no screen challenge in the book clubs where like my screen time has gone down massively.
I forgot I was going to join for that.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going to do my own version later in the year. So.
Okay.
But it is amazing. And interestingly, it's when I've been spending less time on my phone, less time just busy with unbusy work, if that's the right phrase. I was walking along the road, just like not on my screen or anything. And I saw my girls like scooting over a little bridge. And I was like, do you know what? I read somewhere about your school run being like one of the biggest determining factors in the quality of your life. So I took a little 5-second clip of them like scooting over this bridge like on our school run. And I just put it as a reel. Got fucking 2 million views. Everyone in my fucking village saw it. Even the headmaster was like, I saw your reel. And it's just an example of how when we're like busy. Oh, I need to be looking to see what reels I should be doing. I need to look at the trends. You're getting shit results. It's when you actually like are offline, your nervous system is regulated, you're in nature, you're looking. I know it's a really small example, but if that's the result you're looking for, is you obviously want your reels to be seen, you want your work to be seen. It's when you're
100%
relaxed as fuck. That's when the creativity comes.
I had a very similar experience. I had just seen a post on social media and it was the more I heal, the less ambitious I become.
Oh.
And it was Jordan, the nice young man, Jordan, that one.
Yeah. Jordan Stevens.
Jordan Stevens.
He's my man crush Monday.
Oh, he's a man.
Oh, he's a man.
He's a man, right?
He is, yeah.
So he said this on this whatever post it was. And I was going for a walk in my lovely area. And the idea came to me. I don't think it's that you heal and become less ambitious. I think you become more discerning. So I whopped out my phone as I was on my walk, made my video. Trends on social media will tell you 90 seconds, 7 seconds, 15 seconds. I don't think I've ever done, if I've done a reel that is 90 seconds, it's by accident. They're usually like 3 minutes, right? I've got to say what I got to say. I'm not watering it down. So I was on my walk, sharing my thoughts, whacked it up on, edited it on the go, whacked it up on Instagram, came back. I was scared. I was like, where did all these people come from?
Yeah.
1 million odd views, 130 whatever likes, so many comments, people having such beautiful conversations in the comments. If I was trying to follow some kind of formula, if I was looking for inspiration on social media, I would not have created the type of content.
Yeah.
I would have been trying to sit somewhere nice. I was just on my leisurely walk. My hair wasn't done. I was just walking down the road. Why? Because it's real connection.
Yeah.
It comes from somewhere real. And I think that when you are in that rested state, it's almost like your brain relaxes and all the goodness that's squeezed when you're in fight or flight has the opportunity to come out, and you just speak from the heart and people can really feel that. And there are people that can manufacture that really well. I'm just not that type of person. Like it has to flow organically or it's not happening.
It's funny, that is literally sitting in my drafts at the moment. It says success is actually often like just a trauma response. So you better get successful before self-development heals you.
Yeah.
And that do you think that's, because I think about this all the
100%.
time. My thing at the moment is I'm very I don't want to say unmotivated, but I'm not hungry. I'm not as hungry as I used to be when I was really struggling. And in a way, I miss the struggle. Is that
because
weird?
you were so used to it.
Yeah.
So I was saying to someone the other day, whenever I get an opportunity, whenever something just falls into my lap, I'm almost like, oh my God, this is too much. I don't deserve this. I didn't grind for this. But what I appreciate is I've done a lot of the background work. I've done a lot of that trauma response, type A, got to be busy all the time, optimizing everything. And actually, there is a living legacy out there that is going to continue to do what it needs to do. I'm not saying, sack off everything, but we have to give credit to the bank of stuff we built out. But I definitely do not have the same zeal I had previously. And like even with social media, I had a meeting with some marketing people and they were like, can I just ask why you haven't been that consistent? I was like, because after writing my book and it being published, I'm bloody knackered. I do not have the same zeal. And the other thing is, after writing my book, I have got a real appreciation for long form, for going in depth.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to squash and squeeze what I've got into a reel or a caption or whatever. So it's been quite a struggle to create for social media. I keep threatening I am going to do it to start a YouTube channel because I've got stuff I want to say. I just don't want to squash and squeeze it into a little reel.
Yeah. 100%. But I love that you feel the same, like about that. I think a part of it is when I was younger, I had something to prove.
Yes.
And I actually used to say all the time, like, I almost want someone to do me wrong.
Yes,
like
I can prove you wrong.
I want someone to fuck me up. I want someone to come, threaten me and fuck me up. And I'd want that because that was the ammunition I needed to get me up and working. And I mean, how nice and peaceful now. Thank you, universe. But it does give you that driving force, doesn't it? Oh, how do we get that in a healthy way, I wonder?
Well, do you know, and this is, I'm not going to say that I'm there yet, but I think a lot about how I want to live in the future. Like, who do I want to be?
Yeah.
How do I want to be? How do I want to feel like when I wake up in the morning, when I get like, how do I make choices? And that's helped me become far more decisive about how I show up. So if I'm messing around, because sometimes it is messing around, I will say, like previously it was me at 50. 50 is right around the corner. So I've had to move it to 55 because 60 just feels like, what? Like who on earth is going to be 60? Exactly. Not on my watch. Please God, I do want to be 60 and beyond. 97 is my number. But I just think to myself, don't ask me why. I just think I'm going to live till I'm 97. A really good life, like in the gym, killing it, all of that. But I look to my future self and ask that version of myself for guidance, or ask myself, am I actually doing her a favor by behaving like this? And that gets me going. It's a different type of drive because before it'd be like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But now like Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is I really like his spiritual teachings. He talks about being pulled towards something as opposed to pushed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that pulled towards, I just feel like my shoulders drop back a little bit. My chest is like more upright. I just feel like I'm directing, I'm leading, rather than running away from shit. I need to make enough money to pay the bills. I'm actually building and being pulled towards that future version of myself, which feels less chasey and more, I'm sitting on my throne and I'm making sure I'm doing and being who I need to be on this throne.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So do you think that now,
Yes.
in 2026,
Yes.
the ultimate flex really is being rested rather than being booked and busy, here I am, just actually being well rested? People say, how you been? It used to always be like, oh, I've been so busy. Like, what a fucking flex to be like, I had a nap.
You know, I think the flex is living the life you in your heart want to be living. There are I know some people who they are so extroverted, they need to be booked and busy. That's their makeup, so to speak. What I am really here for is women being ambitious for what they are ambitious for and powerfully showing up for that. Whether that is being rested, whether that is being the go-getter, like really almost unapologetically being who you want to be. Not necessarily like going, but I think for a lot of us, we've done so much of that grind and laying the groundwork. If we could just be like towards the end of the year, it was, I think it's McKinsey and Lean In, they do their Women at Work report every year. And in this Women at Work report for 2025, they found that only 69% of women in entry-level roles wanted to climb up the career ladder, as opposed to 80% of men in entry-level roles. And they were talking about this being an ambition gap and that women were less ambitious than they were before. And I thought, no, we're not less ambitious. We don't want to be, like, we look at people, particularly in corporate environments, even in the business world, we look at people who have quote unquote made it and we're like, we don't want to be like that.
I don't want to be the area manager.
I don't, not even that. I don't want to be everything about my personality is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I don't want to be tired and haggard and missing out on special occasions with my family, with my friends, with my children. We don't want that anymore. And I think about my daughter, she is Gen Z. She grew up seeing me in burnout. She saw a lot of hustle, bustle and grind. And she's also seen me switch gears and make things different. And her friends, they look, they're very ambitious. Yeah, they want to, like my daughter keeps talking about, like, I want to be a corporate baddie for a little while, invest my money so that I can retire early and do what I want to do. They're thinking differently.
What a wise girl, by the way.
Right? And
fucking hell.
Taking full credit. No, she's who she's supposed to be. But when I was that age, that wasn't even an option.
No.
It was all about ambition looking like what men's ambition, quote unquote, looks like. And we're in a position where we can actually make powerful choices for ourselves. We don't have to sack off our businesses and become tradwives. We don't have to shame people who decide, well, actually, whilst my children are little, I want to be at home. Ambition for me is being clear about what's important and going towards that. If we think about ambition as energy, as a power source, what do we want to use it for?
Yeah. And it's a little bit like what you were saying earlier about how I feel like the home life, work balance and everything. It's, if you look at any successful person, it's never a straight line. Like, those successful people usually don't have a good balance between the two.
No.
But there's definitely been times where I'm like, my youngest daughter, Laveau, has emotional issues, very emotional. And it takes everything I've got to keep that kid on the straight and narrow. Like, it takes every ounce of my energy. And I have to defer other things or relegate other things in order to be there for all of the girls, really, 100%. But then there's other times, like when my book came out, Lord, no one has seen a person work harder than when I had my book out. I mean, fucking, it kills you, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness.
It killed me for about 6 months
all
after.
Over the country.
I was up, down, here, there.
Yeah.
Do you know, I didn't see any friends for nearly 3 months after that.
Bloody hell.
Christmas was when I first went out and I had lunch with a friend and I thought, I can't even talk to you. Like, and that sounds so dramatic.
Unless you have done it.
Unless you've done it, you have no idea. I literally couldn't socialize for 3 months after. So my point being is what I'm saying, is like, I think when we're talking about ambition, it's okay to be like, this little season of my life, this 3 month, this week, this whatever.
Yeah.
There's something I read in a book about a 3-phase cycle about, the growth, the harvest, and then the rest or whatever, the recuperation. And I think as long as you know what that is, and I think that's a problem, a lot of women don't know what that is. We're stuck in that constant cycle of like hustle.
Yeah.
And I think I don't berate myself for that, because we're also living in a time that this is quite new, what we're doing, like being, I don't want to say single mother anymore, matriarch. Okay. Being the matriarch of my family, being responsible for 5 lives, if you include Clover.
Having a nice nap.
She's having a lovely little sleep, thank God. Being responsible for 5 lives, running a household, doing all that shit, earning all the money like a man, but then raising the children like a woman. This is a relatively new concept. And also doing it in a boss bitch kind of way. So I'm not doing it I'm doing it on a big scale. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give us good holidays, a good life. I don't blame myself for being stuck in that fight or flight at all. But I also am acutely aware that I'm never going to be this young and fit ever again. I'm never going to be this young. My children are never going to be this young. This time is fleeting.
Absolutely.
And there's a book called Die with Zero. Have you heard of it?
No.
So I haven't actually read it yet. I tell people about it. I haven't actually read it. But when my nan died, we went and did like her will and everything. And there was just all this money like written down, all this equity, all this money. And I just thought, isn't this mental? Like when you die, it just comes to a man in a cheap suit sitting in a room being like, there's this much. Yeah. And I just thought, I've always been the kind of person, my mum and nan were always like, pay your mortgage as quickly as you can. Like, I'm always like killing myself to try and like overpay my mortgage. And I thought, why am I using the best years of my life to hustle and miss out on my children's lives at times, to miss out on my own life? Being like, sorry, mum, I can't stop and have lunch because I'm so busy, I'm working. Yeah. That is something I say all the time. I don't have lunch with my friends because I'm busy working. I can't meet my mum because I'm busy. And I thought, for what? To leave these children money, which I don't think it does children any favours to leave them a big inheritance anyway. And so it's really messing with my mindset a little bit, because I always used to be like, I want stability. I want to know my house is paid off. Yeah. And now I'm kind of like, my goal is almost to die with zero. That is now my goal. I want to die with zero. I want to give my children, I want to enjoy it while we're alive. I remember saying to my nan, like, we could get you a first class flight. Like, she felt she couldn't travel anymore. She died at 97, great age. But we could have got first class flights. We could have taken her somewhere in a really luxurious way, but she wouldn't. And she just wouldn't do it. And so my goal as I get older is to start releasing that equity, to start living now, enjoy it now, fucking and die with zero. Yeah,
I really like that idea. It makes me very nervous. It makes me very, very nervous because one of the narratives, and, you know, it might be a child of immigrants thing, is about being able, like, our parents came here for a better life. They sacrificed for a better life. I've got to sacrifice a little bit to make sure my daughter has a better life. Like, I don't want her starting from zero. So I definitely have that in my mind.
But you give it to her while you're alive.
Okay.
So this is my plan, right? Is I'm going to be able to help my daughters buy their first car. Not do everything for them, because I don't want them to be entitled little bitches, but like help them buy their first car. Like help them with certain things, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just love that book.
And also, speaking to like that mindset, if you think about it, most of us were 4 years old when we started school.
Yeah.
So that indoctrination starts from 4. We're conditioned, like everything about your life revolves around you being productive for the vast majority of your day. So in the week, the evening, you're preparing to wake up for your morning routine, like to get to school on time, to spend most of your, you know, vital hours at school. And then you come home, you've got to do homework, and then you've got to have dinner. Then you've got to like do a little like socializing with your family. Then you've got to have a bath. Then you've got to go to bed. The weekend, you're going to ballet, you're going to drama, you're going to this, you're going to that. And then you're racing towards Sunday. You're trying to slow Sunday down because then Monday's going to happen. Yeah. So we've had that for a very long time. So when you choose to say, like our friend Samantha Hearn, love her. One of her things is, me too, love you, girl, about working part-time hours, creating a flexing, fantastic full-time income on part-time hours. it takes a while for your body, mindset, nervous system to adjust to that because you've been programmed to be go, go, go all the time. So like on a Friday, when you said, come on in, I was like, yeah, sure. Because Friday is my slow day. Like I've got a spa in my gym. I usually spend pretty much the day in the gym taking advantage of my membership because I need that. It has taken me about 4 years to get to a point where I'm not justifying having that time on a Friday because it's so deeply ingrained. You know, if you're ambitious, if you're serious about it, then you'll devote your whole life to it. And then what?
Do you know what? I love that you say that's taken you 4 years because I feel like it's a process for me. My daughter started school in September, and that for me was like a real big marker in time because I also always say, like, if you're listening to this and you've got toddlers at home, scrap all of this. This does not apply to you. This literally does not apply to you. We are living completely different lives. And I remember when my girls started school, I remember thinking, I'm going to be a different fucking person, like 5 days a week. Are you kidding me? Like, who am I? Yeah. And I think it's called Parkinson's law, rule, whatever, where whatever you have will fill the gap that you give it. And I was very conscious. I was like, I don't want to suddenly go from a 2-day-a-week person to a 5-day-a-week person and be one of those people like, oh, I don't know where the time goes. Yeah. And that's what started to happen. And that's when I had to, when I did the goal setting party in December, I was like, no, I'm only a couple of months in. I need to train my nervous system that I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a rush. Yes. I can go to the gym. I can go to Pilates. I can sit in the sauna for an hour with an Olaplex mask on if I want, which is what I did yesterday. Nice. And it's like, I can do that. But it's consistently reminding yourself it's okay to do, isn't it? Which is, it is crazy. Yeah. Anyway, something else you talked about was rich girl logistics.
Yes.
Tell me more, because I don't know what this means.
Rich girl logistics, it depends on how you live. But for me, rich girl logistics are the things I have in place in my life to help me feel rich.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Like my gym membership, for example. I go to David Lloyd.
Oh, I'm a David Lloyd ho. Do they make you angry?
Well, they only made me angry when I felt they let too many people join in January
100%.
and there was no bloody parking. There were 2 occasions that I had to come back home because I was not parking down the street and walking in. And I sent them an email saying, this isn't good enough. You should have planned for this. You've oversubscribed.
I love the irony of you going to the gym, but you don't want to walk down the street to the gym.
Too right. I wanted to park. First of all, I get annoyed that I've got to go in the overflow car park. Like, who do you think I am? Yeah. And I just thought, no, I'm not doing this. I'm supposed to be able to park. I will cut my nose off to spite my face. So that's what made me angry. But generally speaking, I really like them. And I don't know who, maybe it was you, somebody mentioned something. So I started looking up people complaining about David Lloyd online.
Yeah. The size of the towels. Tiny.
Yeah, I get 2.
Right. So they don't let us have 2. I pay for 4 memberships. Well, there's a little gay guy on the reception that it is quite nice and he gave me 2 the other day. But I'm like, I pay for 4 memberships. So I just said, my daughter's in there. I want one for her. And he was like, I was like, give me one for my fucking hair. Okay. I'm Olaplexing.
Exactly. And also, I don't want to use the towel that I've gone in the spa with to dry my body when I'm finished in the shower.
But also, I'm like a size sort of 12, 14. If I was a size 16 to 18, that towel would not go around my body. Yeah. It is the small, it's like a flannel.
Oh no, my David Lloyd, we've got bath size towels.
I'm being shortchanged here.
You absolutely are. You absolutely are.
I hate you, David Lloyd. I've already unsubscribed. I'm cancelling. I'm on my 3 months.
Oh really?
I'm giving it up in June.
I gave up before, but near me, there's not anything that's similar to David Lloyd. So I went back.
We're the same. There's no other option. It's the only like high-end gym, like with a sauna and everything. Yeah. So you're fucked if you can't go there.
Basically, but I need that. So
rich girl logistics, this is what we're talking about. It's a gym. This is one. What else?
Rich girl logistics. And you know what? My version of rich, some people are going to be like, what? Like rich for me isn't this massive, great big price tag, but it's the things that make me feel rich. So it's like the nail shop, like going to get my nails done.
Yes.
I don't think getting your nails done is relaxing, but I do like the end. Exactly. I do like the end results. So I always make sure I've got that going on. Rich girl life means that I'm making time to be able to walk in my local area and be able to spend that time. It also means that I'm discerning about what I do and who I do it with, because there are lots of times that I might have gone to a dinner or something. It might have been expensive, but I didn't feel rich. I actually feel ripped off, and now I'm having hot cross buns because I'm still hungry, you know?
Yeah.
So it's about those sorts of things. It's about buying the olive oil I really like, as opposed to, so it's those things that are every day. Oh my goodness, Fran.
Yeah. I'm excited. What is it?
Sharmadean Reed.
Yeah.
Do you know who she is?
No, I thought that was olive oil. What is it?
She's a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
So she's got this big platform for women called Stack World, which is all about, you know, developing yourself, being the best woman you can be. She used to have a nail shop in the West End called War Nail. She's written books.
Oh, I know.
New method for women.
Yes.
So she has got this body oil.
Yeah.
That she has created. The brand is called, I'm not sponsored. She probably doesn't even know I exist.
But send us a free one if you see this. We'll tag you.
So 39 BC, it's called.
Okay.
And it's inspired by like ancient Egyptian bathing rituals. This woman has created a shower oil that lathers.
Stop.
So you are moisturizing and cleansing simultaneously. And when I tell you,
does it smell amazing?
It smells so decadent.
Okay.
It smells like money. It smells like gold.
Yeah.
It smells like any precious materials. And when I first got it, I thought it's going to be a special treat. This shit's 39 quid. It's going to be a special treat.
Is it an everyday treat?
It's an everyday treat, mate. So I start off with my shower gel, which is like for skin softening and, you know, getting rid of bumps and cellulite and this and that. And then my second go is with this 39 BC.
Oh, I see.
Stuff.
You do I like that. That's a good system. Yeah.
You walk out feeling like Cleopatra, the Queen of Sheba.
Do you know
all
what?
Of those.
I agree. A lot of my rich girl logistic things are like having a bathrobe that is really like sumptuous. I have my version of that, but I know this is a little bit basic bitch, but Sol de Janeiro, I know it's like probably toxic, but there is one, they sent it to me in a PR gift. It smells heavenly. And it's one of the only things I can smell it after I've got out. Yeah. And so you're right, just having a shower in that feels.
And the aromatherapy with the smell, it's fantastic. So it's things that logistical things I can weave in every day. So my next thing I'm thinking about is like, my car is old, it's battered. I'm so not fussed. But the other day I was thinking to myself, I actually want to drive and it feel like it's a really nice experience opposed to, so it's looking at those things. And I'm not talking about buying some really prestigious car, just something I really like. It might be prestigious, it might not, but looking at how the logistical things in my life can actually make my life feel better. One of the things I used to do was order my food shop, but now my daughter is no longer at home. I could literally just go to the gym all week and that's it. So now I actually go to the supermarket, but I look out for things I really want. I actually create the recipes I bookmarked all over bloody social media and make an effort to have those sorts of things. So it's thinking about that. And then lastly, at the end of last year, I worked with a fitness and nutrition coach, Charlie Hobson. And it was a bit triggering, to be totally honest, because I realized I know how to eat healthy food, but I didn't know what healthy food needed to look like for me, especially at this stage. Okay. And what I recognized that I really grossly undereat, like I wasn't powering up my body. So working with him, it was the logistics of what do you need to have in your house all the time to make sure your body is fueled the way you need to? How do you need to, not just like, having a good bedtime routine, but what do you need to get a good night's sleep so that you are energizing yourself for the life you want? That he's partly the reason why I went back to David Lloyd, because all of these things, for me, feeling rich is having a body that is strong and flexible and feels good to be able to support like the good life I want to live. If your body's in tatters, you're not going to live a good life.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I have an old YouTube video called "You Can't Enjoy a Kanye West Concert if you're shitting yourself," or something like that. basically, I went to Vegas and I drank some tap water or something, which now I know. And so basically my friend was the producer with Harvey Weinstein. What a time to be alive.
I know, right?
Oh, and he used to fly me to like Vegas and all these places. Whenever I tell these stories, it always sounds like I'm being sex trafficked all the time, but I really wasn't. And he was like, do you want to come to this like Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez party? And I was like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I ordered a steak. I had some water. Started shitting myself non-stop.
No.
Missed the party. He had to go on his own. I had to stay in the hotel room by myself, shitting myself all night. So yeah, you're right. You can't enjoy anything unless you have your health. Like that is the most abundant thing about you, isn't it?
And that's why I wanted to join. I'm gutted. That's why I wanted to join your thing. A rich logistics is not being glued to your flipping phone.
Yeah.
Like that is, whatever it was I was watching, they were talking about how the new wealth is not being addicted to social media.
Absolutely. I think the new wealth is like working on your mindset enough to be aware of the things that are draining your energy. Like
Absolutely.
we are in an attention economy now.
Yeah.
And so many people are actually completely unaware of that. And they're just consuming. And they think it's free, but it's not. They're paying with their life force.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think what my rich girl logistics are. So 100% that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a white company bath mat in front of my mirror because when I'm standing, it's all tiled, it's all freezing. So I have a nice bath mat that feels soft under my feet.
Mm-hmm.
My car being clean. Now I'm the same as you. I don't give a shit about my car. I've got an old X-Trail that I drove out of the pub and the pub metal sign scraped all down the side of it. So it looks like I've had my car keyed. I haven't. But I don't give a shit. But it being clean inside and having a hand sanitizer and some tissues. And do you know what I mean? Like that makes me feel like a wealthy woman.
Yeah.
Having enough time to walk the dog in the morning and do the school run and just walk along with my headphones in, listening to pussy ballads. Again, feel like I'm living a rich life.
Yes.
What else? Having an afternoon nap. I need a buffer between my work day or like my me time and picking the girls up from school, because the way that the twins are sometimes, I need to like almost like steel myself. Yeah. And sometimes I find just laying down and having a half an hour nap.
That's your commute.
That's my commute.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is. Yeah. What a luxury. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any others. So.
And you know, I just want to add something else. I have a tendency to go for intensity. Yeah. So when I first started working with Charlie, like we're not working together anymore, but what he did was so powerful, it's staying with me. I was like, right, I want to do this like, not 75 hard, I could never, but 75 medium. And I thought to myself, that's not abundant. You saying that you've got this finite period of time and you've got to get in shape. And I thought, what if I decided that I'm going to flourish all the way to 50 and then the next project would be flourishing throughout 50? What if I was to give myself 18 months to prepare my body to get myself in shape? How luxurious would that feel? Instead of trying to like squeeze myself like meat in a sausage machine, like squeeze myself out the other side.
Yeah.
What if I not like mess around and not do what I need to do properly, but take my time and enjoy the journey? That's like real decadence. That's abundance. That is richness. That's telling myself, you are important enough. I cherish you enough to take my time with you, with me, my health. Like that for me, like when I say I'm ambitious to be a well-rested woman, I want to be in a good state of health so that when I am at rest, I'm able to enjoy it. I haven't got all of these aches and pains because I haven't looked after myself.
Yeah, that is the true wealth. Do you find now with what I've noticed with the gym since I've turned 40 is like, I used to be like, right, I'm going to do this so I can look really good on this holiday, or I can do. Yeah. And now I'm not thinking of how I look in a bikini. I am a little bit, but I'm genuinely thinking of like, what would 80, 90-year-old Fran, the one that is like, I've got 3 daughters, so I'm going to be inundated with grandchildren probably. Mum, can you help me? Can you do this?
Yeah.
I'm doing it for her so that I can help them and I can, you know, be. Do you know my worst nightmare? The thing keeps me up at night is like, and it's never going to happen because it's not my reality, but like my daughters having grandchildren, or them having children rather, and them saying, oh, we're going to go and climb Snowdon, or we're going to go and my ex can fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I can't because I'm a fat sausage sitting on the sofa.
Not on my watch.
Not on my fucking watch. No. So that keeps me going.
Fran? I will be straight up and down. I do want that body that people are like, oh my goodness. So, and I've never really given myself that. I have done strength training. I've looked after myself almost like punishment. It hasn't been because you're worth it. It has been stay in shape, have stamina. This is going to help you have energy. But as a gift to myself, you know, those times when you're wearing an outfit, you know you look good and you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh my goodness, like I want that feeling all along. I've given up on this idea of having a six-pack. If that happens, great. I think I'm always going to have a squishy belly. That's fine. But let me tell you something. I have got good shoulders. I've got a good neckline. I've got good arms. I want to maintain that because when people take pictures of me and maybe I'm moving and you can see like that muscle definition. Oh, I love it. I want to maintain that. Like I want to look good and feel good according to what that is for me. And I also want that when I'm older. My mum, she's a member of a walking club. She's a member of a choir. She does all of this stuff. And previously she's had periods where her health hasn't been that great. But before my TEDx talk, when I was really nervous about it, she took me on one of her walking routes that she goes on with her walking peeps. And she was literally like Dora the Explorer. To see my mum agile, knowing how to place her feet in perilous situations and whatever else. That's what I want. I want to be fully alive again, leading my life at every single phase of my life. And if I want, like my ideal would be to be this really fit, healthy 97-year-old who one day goes to sleep, doesn't open her eyes again. That's it. I've gone off and met my maker. But still with the muscular arms and everything to go with it.
You're going to look great in that coffin.
Listen,
you're going to look fabulous.
My aim. Those coffin pics, if people do take pics, they're going to say she might be dead, but she's still got muscle definition.
Have you ever been to a funeral where it's you see the body?
No, I haven't. Oh no, I'm telling fibs. My granddad had an open casket.
How was that? There is a reason I'm asking, but how was it?
First, when my granddad first died, how many
times did he die?
Time he died. No, at the beginning. So my granddad was buried. He died in England. He was buried in Sierra Leone.
Wow.
That's what he wanted. He wanted to be buried back home. He wanted to be with my grandma. He wanted to be buried with her. And the reason I'm like, it's going to sound so morbid, but so by the time his body was shipped, Sierra Leone was just getting over the Ebola epidemic.
Right.
So there were loads of things that had to happen in order to facilitate that trip.
Right.
So he'd been dead for quite a while.
Oh.
So there was like formaldehyde and whatever it is like that. So, you know, he wasn't, but he definitely wasn't in the same state of Nick, let's say,
no,
when they had the open casket in Sierra Leone.
So you had it, did you go to the one in Sierra Leone?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So he was, by then, he was a little bit grey, a little bit.
Yeah.
So I did see I still held his hand and said goodbye.
Did you?
Yes.
I went to a funeral the other day of my friend and it was an open coffin. I think my mum was like, I'm 78. This has never happened. But there was a dispute with her ex-husband. And I think a lot of people didn't believe that she was in the coffin.
Oh.
We think that's maybe why they did it.
Scandalous.
It's been awful. And we went, and as we went in, I was like, I am doing an open coffin when I die because I think it's a lovely thing. You know, like mammals, they will hold their babies for like a week after they die and it helps them. There's that man, wasn't there, that kept his wife for a week at home because he was like, that is actually how you're supposed to.
Yeah.
So we were all like, yeah, we're going to go and see. It was such a lesson. It really affected me for about 3 days. I was like having an existential crisis, but there's nothing there. It wasn't her. It was not her.
It's just the vessel.
She looked different. And I was like, what a lesson that once the soul goes, it meant nothing.
Yeah.
It just meant nothing. And when my nan died, I didn't want to touch her either. Like it's like the person's not there.
No.
It's wild.
That absolutely, it was my granddad's body, but it wasn't my granddad.
No.
And I say all the time, like my granddad is always around me, always around me. I feel his presence. And when I was writing my book, my granddad, you know, he's an old school gent, very tidy, very meticulous. And he was like, I just heard very strongly, you can't keep it so messy, dear. You've got to tidy it up because I had a version of this over here. So I created a folder that had all of my like separate chapters, the research I was doing and whatever else. And for my next books, I've got so much information neatly placed. And that's the sort of person my granddad was. So that body was not, but I still felt like I had to hold his hand and say goodbye and give thanks, even though it was great. And Black people love an open casket.
They love it.
Oh,
well, have you seen sometimes they they do them like sitting on a motorbike and then it's like...
I saw some footage in Ghana, like them propped up, sitting in the cane chair,
smoking a cigar.
For days and days,
Yeah.
Like, whatever makes
Maybe
you happy.
I will do that, actually. I'll just be like with a buzzball in my hand, like, hey guys.
Why not? Why not?
I love it. I did want to talk about rest as a manifestation tool.
Yes.
So people talk a lot about, and I'm probably one of them as well, like doing more and more to manifest. But what do you think about rest being the most powerful strategy for manifestation?
I have manifested fantastic stuff. Anything that I've manifested from hustle has turned into shit, basically.
Interesting.
So, and the thing we've got to understand is there's different types of rest. So Dr. Saundra Dalton-Smith, she's a medical doctor in America. She did a TED talk about the 7 types of rest.
7?
7 types of rest.
I thought there were like 4. Okay.
So there's loads, babes. So we've got to remember that rest isn't just lying around doing nothing. You can have creative rest, emotional rest, spiritual rest, all of those sorts of things. And what has been most expansive for me is active rest. So like a playful rest.
So like going for a walk but not listening to anything. Or
not necessarily, right? So I've got ADHD. So quite often I will listen to something because it stops me from overthinking about it's almost like one part of my brain is focused, so the other part is able to be clear. So it's not often that I have absolutely nothing because I will fill it with nonsense. But it's things like, walking is very powerful and being somewhere that sparks creativity. So for me, water is a very big one. And I had a Akashic record reading and
what's that? Akashic record? What?
To be frank,
it was a load of shit.
I said to my friend, she could have been doing anything. I didn't feel
what was
damn
it?
thing.
What does it mean?
It's something. So she was doing Reiki. I've got a good relationship with Reiki. I didn't feel anything. So when I didn't feel anything, I just thought this ain't. Yeah. But it's something about like going into your ancestral spiritual records or something like that she was doing. And she was saying stuff that just didn't track for me, but I thought fair enough. But what she did say is that nature, and because she didn't use the word co-regulate, but basically what I understood was how we co-regulate with nature, and nature is so abundant. That is very good, like to manifest. And I like water. So being by the sea is very good for me. That is a place I could be without any distraction because I've got the sound of the sea.
One-way ticket to Brighton.
Honestly, my favourite UK coastal, and it's not the best, but it's my favourite, St. Leonard's-on-Sea.
Why have I heard of that? Oh, I used to know an alcoholic that had a caravan there.
There are probably lots of alcoholics down there, but... so
is it Clacton?
No.
No, I'm thinking of the wrong place.
It's near Hastings. It's that kind of way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very, very... it's almost like Shoreditch on the sea now.
Really?
There's so many people from London that moved down there. But being by the sea, so doing something that takes you out of your normal environment so that you're not busy in the way you're normally busy.
Right.
So walking in the beach in Ghana and I went to Cape Coast Castle, which is an old slave fort. So there were lots of people that were trafficked, Black people who were trafficked and enslaved that went through the castle. But being there and hearing those stories, it just made my creativity go wild. And then there was the sea, and I just felt like I was getting messages from ancestors like, we've done the grind, we've done that. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be standing on our shoulders, not lying on the ground. When I came back from that holiday, a few days later, I was at Mind, Body, Spirit Festival festival speaking, and somebody came and she was like, oh, I really like your work. I made sure I set aside time to be able to come to your workshop. She ended up being my commissioning editor at Hay House. They offered me a book deal. There was something else I was doing that I was really wrestling with stuff to do with work. And I thought, you know what, sod this. I surrender. I let it go. Spoke at an event, met somebody, and she was like, have you ever thought about doing a TEDx? I was like, heck yeah. She offered me to do a TEDx.
Wow.
So anything that comes from a place, like for me, one of my best states of rest is something that feels playful. I'm a very playful person. So whatever enables your nervous system to relax is going to help you manifest. I'm not sure how much we actually create that has got legs that comes from, now I'm going to do this meditation and then I'm going to do this somatic shaking and then I'm going to, I don't buy it. I just feel like the universe is just waiting for you to sit still so it can give it to you.
Yes. And it's also interesting how what's right for you is not right for me. I don't hate nature, but like I look out on my office windows and it's just fields and it's, you know, that hello darkness, my old friend. I'm like, this ain't for me. But then when I come to London, it's like I'm high.
Yeah.
Literally, when I come here, I'm like, oh,
Goodness.
I feel back to life.
Yeah.
Walking on the street and seeing a crack addict. Hello. But that is literally what, like the Lily Allen song, Smile. Yes. That is how I feel.
Yes.
Like, but it doesn't have to be like, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I have to go forest bathing or I have to go and stare at the ocean. For some people that may not work.
No.
For me, when I come here and I see the blue sky and I see the skyline, the buildings, I'm like, I feel motivated, I feel inspired. So I guess it's finding what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this has been incredible. We've had a time. It's been wonderful. I can't wait for part 3.
But when are we getting married, Fran?
Do you know what? I've tried to be a lesbian.
I haven't even tried.
No, I haven't really tried. I haven't tried. No, I did have a threesome once in my 20s and I refused to touch anything to do with it. I was like, nah.
We've had a conversation.
Have we?
Yeah, at your book doodah when I was interviewing you for your book.
How often do I mention this?
Well, I don't know how it came about, to be quite frank, but yes.
I had a threesome with Russell Brand. And I was like, I ain't here for that part of it.
Yeah.
But I would love to be a lesbian. I would love to be, but I just can't.
Can I tell you something? I did that thing about fetishizing, if that's the right way to say it, being a lesbian.
Wait, I've heard this. They've got the same problems.
Exactly.
They've got the same problems.
Forward.
Yeah.
They do everything quickly. Oh my God, I love you. Let's move in.
Move in after 2 weeks.
Let's divorce.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, being a lesbian isn't going to solve my problems, is it? No. I think
lavender marriage,
maybe. But also, how incredible that we are just living our fucking lives.
Oh my God. When I tell you, this is another reason that we're going off piece a bit, but this is another reason why it's hard to date. I really like my life.
Yeah.
So if you are not adding something that is making me feel like, oh my goodness, this is fantastic, you just hanging around, now you're taking away from me because now I've got to think about you and respond to your blooming good morning texts.
Yeah. With something that isn't just good morning. Do you know what? As I was driving down here, because I'm doing speed dating tomorrow night, I was thinking about if I had a boyfriend, I was like, well, imagine if I meet someone here and obviously they're going to be in London. I thought, I cherish my child-free time in London. Like, I actually wouldn't want to then be like, oh, I've got to see David. Like, we've got
Yeah, I know.
Like, I'm busy this whole weekend. And when I say busy, some of that time is allocated to just laying in bed, having a couple of buzzballs before I meet my friend for dinner.
Absolutely.
Like, the fact that I get to do that, like, I think this is why I manifest quite well. I'm very grateful for like really simple little pleasures.
Yes.
And actually, I don't take for granted the fact that because I am divorced, because I'm a single mum, because, matriarch, sorry, because I have very supportive dads who are incredible, not my dads, I get to come and have a child-free weekend in London and do whatever the fuck I like.
Yeah.
How incredible. But also, why am I searching for someone I ain't got any time to fucking fill.
What a time to be alive.
What a time. Oh, anyway, final question for you. If someone was listening today and thinking, I want to be a well-rested woman, tell me more. What are the couple of things? I was going to say 3 things, but that's annoying because like then you have to think of 3 things. But what are the couple of things that you would say they should do straight away? to achieve that goal?
I would say slow down.
Yeah.
Stop washing dishes, washing your face, hoovering like somebody's chasing after you. So the first thing I would say is slow down. The second thing I would say is look at your timetable. Look at where you're filling your diary with stuff just so it's there, just to say you're doing something. And if you're like, I'm so busy, I've got so much to do, I couldn't possibly, babes, have a look at your screen time.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can claw back some of that and I've got apps that block me from my phone because I don't have that kind of willpower. And allow yourself to do something. There's a lot of us where when people say, oh, be bored, we can't do it because we've been on the go all the time. Do some kind of relaxing something, whether it's going to the Pilates, going for a walk or whatever the case may be. And the other thing is, think about what is important. What makes my life feel really good? Where do I feel most alive? And see how you can start to weave that into every single day. And if you can't weave it in every single day, see where you can weave that in 3 times a week, 2 times a week, so that you're actually directing your life. You're being intentional. And it doesn't mean that you have to have this, my intention is I've got this goal and I want to live in this particular house. If your goal is, I want to be more present with my children, for example, look at how you can actually do that. What can you put in place to be more present with your children? Get really clear on what's important to you and bloody well go for it, because we only get one shot at this.
Yeah. Time is flying.
Absolutely. It's bloody March.
You're going to be in that rotating coffin soon.
With a fag hanging out your mouth. So you might as well make the most of it whilst you can.
Yeah, you have to. Well, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you?
You can come and find me on Instagram, Tamu.Thomas. That's where I, even if I'm not posting, I'm bloody well there. So yeah, come find me there.
And we're both going to be at Manifest.
Yes.
Talk about Girls Weekend. I'm so excited.
Me too.
I'm staying overnight. I'm going to have the time of my life, and then I'm flying to Tuscany the next day. But yeah, we're both going to be at Manifest in Newcastle, which if I could remember the date, I'd tell you, but I feel like it's June.
It is June. I think it is. I could be giving alternative facts, but I think it's the 11th and 12th of June.
I feel like you're right. Yes, but I'll leave a link down below for tickets anyway.
It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be so much fun. And also, what's your talk about there?
So my talk is about working with your nervous system to create the life you want.
Oh, I love that. I don't know what mine is yet, but to be confirmed.
Yeah.
I'll decide the morning of. No. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. If you have liked this podcast, if you've got any value from it at all, please do share it with a friend. Share it with someone who is constantly rushing around and needs to hear this episode. And you can rate, review, subscribe. They all help so much to keep the podcast free and to keep it alive. And I'll see you bitches next week. The law of attraction has changed my life. And guess what? It's going to change yours too. Bye.